One way to navigate life is to avoid the traps. And one trap is judgment. We're talking about recognizing judgment of others versus opinions of others. When we feel judged by others, there's this tendency to question whether or not the person's perspective is valid or not. In life, there are facts and there are opinions. Facts are data that have been proven in some way. And opinions are simply perspectives or conceptualizations. Opinions may be rooted in upbringing, childhood experiences. They could even be rooted in fantasy, but they aren't necessarily factual. Regardless to where a person's opinions come from, they don't have to affect us at all. Judgment, on the other hand, is a bit heavier. It's a heavier energy. I'm not talking about using sound judgment to solve problems or to execute tasks. I'm actually talking about the judgment experienced from disapproving others. Judgment has a tendency to make us feel a certain way. And even if you do a great job of not allowing anyone to rock your peace, judgment feels like judgment. It's just, when someone is judging you and it doesn't feel good. In fact, it's sort of designed to make you feel bad. The person judging has decided that their opinion is the right one, and you, my friend, are just wrong. Judgment from others is detrimental, but so is judging others. Our subconscious mind is so interesting. It's a self-absorbed part of the brain. What I mean is that the subconscious knows its only responsibility is to be concerned about you. Therefore, it's not concerned about anyone else. For this reason, when we judge another person, the subconscious integrates that as a judgment of oneself. Judgment acts as a boomerang where, although you're projecting outward, it comes back towards you. Judgment projected outward is just as harmful as self-judgment because it is stored and categorized the same way in the brain and in the nervous system as if you said it to another person. The brain is learning as long as you are living. It learns from your thoughts and your actions. Consistent, prolonged thoughts and repeated behaviors entrain the brain to the way that you think and the way that you feel about yourself. This is why acts of self-sabotage are so self-defeating. Over time, it creates patterns that result in a lifetime of negative experiences and feelings about yourself. So judgment is not beneficial because when we judge others, it equals judging ourselves. And judgment locks us into a limiting, confining mindset. So when others judge you, it's a healthy practice to distinguish between your opinion and theirs. You want to anchor and ground yourself in your own opinion. If a person shares a non-judgmental opinion, that has a different weight to the energy. It's lighter. And you can always benefit from the good advice from others, but be self-referent first and differentiate between facts and opinions. Self-referent means go within, check it out. Like, how do I feel about this? This person thinks this. The Lakers are the best basketball team in the world. Someone else may have a different opinion, but go within and check and see. I love the Lakers, by the way. But anyway, that aside, go within and check out how you feel. Do you agree with that opinion? And is their opinion rooted in any facts? Facts are proven, but that doesn't mean that the facts apply to you. So this is where it gets interesting. We want to distinguish between facts and opinion, realizing that facts are they're data that's actually been proven in some way, shape, or form. But even proven facts don't necessarily apply to you or your situation. There's cultural situations to consider, there's familial and community and environmental situations. There's your unique experiences, okay? That, you always want to consider even before you apply facts to your situation. For example, a particular supplement or intervention may be proven medically to help heal people, in most cases. However, a person may have a particular blood type that interacts with that supplement or that medical intervention in a way that would actually be, lethal for that person. So that's an example of what I'm talking about. We always want to weigh the facts and make sure that they are applicable to our own situation. We also want to distinguish between facts and opinions, and we also want to be self-referent, which means we go within and always determine our own ideas, our own feelings, our own perspective about a thing before we just integrate other people's facts or beliefs or, perspectives into our consciousness. So facts are proven, but that doesn't mean that they necessarily apply to you. And facts often outweigh opinions, but not absolutely. It depends on the situation and all of the variables that are involved. When assessing facts, opinions, and judgment, don't take on other people's judgment of yourself or others. Try and disconnect from groupthink and allow yourself to anchor in your own truth. Allow yourself to have your own opinions and to use your own better judgment, even if you are a party of one. Even if you are the minority, stand in your own perspective unless it feels aligned to shift your perspective. You can always change. You can have an opinion and then you do some research, or, you hear enough opinions of others and it makes sense. And, you use rational judgment. You go within and you of your own accord can always decide to shift your perspective and come up with another opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. Differentiate between objectivity and subjectivity. Subjective opinions often have nothing to do with you. They're someone else's opinions. Their subjective thought based on their own experience. So stay in your lane and let others be where they feel called to be. Be self-referent for self-regulation. In other words, go within, establish your own rules, figure it out on your own. What are your belief systems? What are your core values? Where's your moral compass? What's your moral code? How do you perceive a particular thing? And remain self-regulated, self-guided, and emotionally stable based on what you believe to be true. You don't have to wig out just because other people are wigging out. You don't have to become dysregulated because that's what the group is doing. Don't react with judgment when others make a choice that you wouldn't make. So someone else does something, they make a statement, they get all Karen on us, or they do something crazy. If you can, refrain from judging that person, because of what I said earlier, how your subconscious is going to interpret that as you judging yourself. And before I continue, the ways that self-judgment shows up in our experience usually is emotional dysregulation, such as depression or anxiety or self-doubt, imposter syndrome, feeling of fear, deep worry, worthlessness, hopelessness, maybe even suicidal thoughts. So as we're projecting our judgments onto others, thinking that we're really doing something, calling them an a-hole or calling them a lowlife or that, whatever we want to say, the subconscious is storing those judgments as self-defeating thoughts. Okay. And they're buried deep in the subconscious until they're not. At some point, they're going to come bubbling up to the surface, like they're going to erupt like a volcano. But the way that those self judgments, those judgments that you were projecting out to others, but they boomeranged back to you and you didn't know it, the way they're going to show up is all those things: imposter syndrome, low self esteem, feeling badly about yourself, failure to launch, not feeling equipped to accomplish a goal or start a business or finish, college or whatever it is. Okay. So don't react with judgment when others make a choice that you wouldn't make. Instead, give yourself permission to make the choices that align with your values and moral code. So let's say that your neighbor goes out, they make a fool of themselves, they do something that just makes the whole community look bad. Okay. And you want to just judge, you want to, go on social media and rant, you want to write all kinds of information and go spray paint their house and TP their lawn and do kinds of, crazy kinds of things because you're just so disgusted with their behavior. Rather than resort to that, give yourself permission to make the choices that align with your values and moral code. You could basically say something like, wow, that experience doesn't make me feel good. So I'm giving myself permission in this moment. If I should ever encounter a thing like that, I'm going to handle it this way. This is how I'm going to treat the situation or treat people. I'm not going to make any assumptions. I'm actually not going to become a hothead. I'm going to allow myself to breathe and calm and remain self-regulated and handle future situations like this. Okay. So take time to stop and think about your truth and always integrate and ground that truth before responding to someone else's opinion or judgment. Listen to your higher self consistently and abide in your highest truth for a happier and healthy life experience. And in this way, you are avoiding the unnecessary traps of judgment.